Hello everyone, my name is Rayanna Gray. I am presenting my case study on the pathophysiological process of human immunodeficiency virus known as HIV. I will begin by introducing my client named Dan. Dan was diagnosed with HIV when he was 26 years old, and I will share his experience throughout my presentation. To begin, what is HIV? HIV is a single-stranded RNA retrovirus that suppresses the immune system. As you all know, our immune system is the body's defense mechanism against any foreign pathogen. Now, the virus affects our immune system and hijacks our T cells. The virus specifically targets lymphocytes containing CD4 molecules on their membranes. I've drawn a virus cell and a T cell here to further explain what goes on in between these two cells. The virus cell has a envelope containing a protein called the GP120. That protein specifically binds to the molecule CD4. Not only does it have to bind to that molecule, but also to a co-receptor. That co-receptor could either be a CCR5 receptor or a CXCR4 receptor. Once it's attached to the receptor, it now has the ability to enter the cell's membrane. When it enters the cell membrane, the virus, as I mentioned earlier, is a retrovirus. Retro meaning it contains a viral enzyme called reverse transcriptase. Reverse transcriptase will convert the viral single-stranded RNA into a double-stranded DNA. With the help of another viral enzyme called integrase, will integrate that viral DNA into this T cell's DNA. This specific course of action by the virus is what makes it difficult to cure. Now that I've explained what happens in between these cells, I will move on to the progression of the virus, which happens in 3 phases. The first phase is called the acute affection. This happens when the virus is in the lymph nodes and spreads along to other lymph nodes and affects other lymphocytes, such as other T cells and macrophages. The amount of virus found in the blood is extremely high, resulting in the patient being very contagious. During this time, Dan experienced flu-like symptoms. He developed rash on his outside of his body. He was in extreme pain for about 2 weeks, and as you can tell, the progression of the virus starts around the 2-week area and usually ends around the 12 week. A person will recover, and that's what's interesting during this phase. The immune system is able to fight back, and you can see that the viral load starts to increase, but then again decreases, as well as the lymphocytes decreasing, then increasing. If the virus is left untreated, the person will move on to the chronic latency phase, which happens in between 2 to 10 years. A person will experience no symptoms, and during this time, a person usually will just experience weight loss, see signs of weight loss. Others will have flu-like symptoms as well, just depending on the person. In Dan's situation, he had no symptoms, so he recovered from the first phase. Now, moving on with the progression, if the virus is left untreated again and leads into 10 years plus, the virus usually develops into acquired immunodeficiency syndrome, also known as AIDS. At this point, a person's immune system is suppressed and so compromised that opportunistic infections will severely affect a person. For an example, Dan had cotton meningitis during this time and was in the hospital for about 2 weeks. He was severely ill, and honestly, it's a good thing he was able to fight the virus and able to live another day, because usually people with HIV and AIDS usually die not from the virus itself, but usually from an opportunistic infection. Now, moving on to how Dan received or was infected by this virus. Usually, and most commonly known, this virus is transmitted through sexual intercourse. It is a blood-borne virus, so anyone can be infected by the virus if they are contaminated with a infected needle or syringe. A mother with the HIV can pass on the virus to their child through their breast milk, or if there was an exchange of blood during the delivery. There is a treatment. The virus is not curable, but it can be managed. The primary treatment is to use antiretroviral therapy as an inhibitor. These combined drugs are called HIV regime, and when a person is prescribed the antiretroviral therapy, they usually become undetectable, meaning they have a viral load count let me rephrase this. Usually they refer to a person being undetectable when they have a small amount of virus found in their blood. Dan uses this term undetectable equals untransmittable, which means as long as he keeps a low viral load count, he is less likely to transmit the virus disease. I hope you guys all enjoyed my presentation, and have a wonderful semester.